Ruchi Vaishnav Seva Jivadoya. Jivadoya means being merciful to those who are in the material clutches of Maya. Try to drag them out and bring them to Krishna consciousness. And it says, only the great souls will only be fully happy when they see the whole world Krishna conscious. Only then will they be fully happy. They're not happy simply because they are happy because of their own spiritual, strength, power, but because they are by nature compassionate, their happiness is understood by when they see others become Krishna conscious. That's their happiness. They get more happiness to see others become Krishna consciousness than they do for themselves. That is their greatest joy in life. And that's why they come. They come on behalf of the Lord to spread the glories of the Lord to the conditioned souls. So the most powerful way is two things: book distribution and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And we do that here. And the success has been great because of that. But continue, because the world is still a mess. It's becoming more and more messy. Because people are lost. They don't know which way to turn. Even their material plans are no longer something they look forward to anymore. And that's been destroyed within the last couple of years. And as Prabhupada said, the whole Western civilization for the last 200 to 300 years has simply made the world miserable. That's all. Simply made the world miserable. And so now it's becoming really miserable. Even the basic necessities of life are becoming hard to attain. And that's Kali Yuga. But that's a whole different subject. But if we worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and serve his devotees and think of ways to give Krishna consciousness to others, book distribution is one of the most powerful and direct way. As Prabhupada says, the best form of preaching is distribute my books. He made that distinction between all forms of preaching. He said, what would your 3-minute lecture do? But if somebody gets a book, then they're on their way, and they get into their life is. We have so many stories of people's lives being immediately changed by receiving, a book. So book distribution is the force behind our Sankirtan movement. Therefore, Prabhupada emphasized these two things, Harinam and book distribution. And then guess what? He emphasized book distribution over Harinam. He made that more important. Why? Because he knew that for some people they can't understand this chanting. Of course we do it and purify the atmosphere, but if they get a book, even if they, in Germany, he wrote a letter to the German devotees in 1977, May 6th. You can read that letter. It's a beautiful letter. He's talking to the German book distributors. He says, if a person buys a book, they become benefited. If they see the book, if they buy the book, they become benefit. If they read the book, they become benefit. If they see the book, they become benefit. If they simply touch the book, it's in the letter, you can read it, they become benefited. Because these books are incarnations of the Lord's special mercy in literary sound vibration. So if we emphasize these two things, and we're doing that as much as we can, and then gradually the world will change. And then, of course, Prabhupada's other program is establish these farm communities. Because as the cities crumble, as Prabhupada says, these cities will crumble, we need to live in such a way as that we can further our Krishna consciousness. Live like Krishna lived. Natural living, simple living, cow protection, agriculture, farm communities, healthy lifestyle. He said, we'll be preaching in the cities and inviting people to come to the farms. That was Prabhupada's program. And it's happening already, so you can see. So Mahaprabhu is that force that's bringing it all about. So we worship Mahaprabhu by chanting his holy name, by associating with and serving his devotees, and taking his message, because he writes, he doesn't write, he speaks in the 9th chapter of this Adi Leela. He says, I am a gardener. This is Mahaprabhu speaking. I'm a gardener. And I have this storehouse full of wonderful, succulent, juicy, tasty fruits. They're so sweet. And I am tasting these fruits and I'm becoming nourished and so happy. But I want to distribute these fruits to everyone. So please help me. He said, I'm only one person. He says that. I'm only one person. How much can I do? But I have a whole storehouse full. And what is that fruit? Fruit of love of God. So take it and distribute it. And make other people benefit, happy. And by doing that, then Mahaprabhu becomes your personal possession. He becomes very inclined to that devotee. So this is Mahaprabhu's movement. It's rare, comes once in every 1,000 yuga cycles. That means it comes once in 8,640,000,000 years. He doesn't, after this particular Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya doesn't come for another 1,000 Kali Yugas. Neither does Krishna. Now you can see how you think, wow, I'm here, alive, during Mahaprabhu's era. How fortunate. People in previous ages didn't have that fortune. They had to perform really austere austerities to become Krishna conscious. Real austerities. Austerities that would be impossible for people in Kali Yuga to perform. Well, that's Mahaprabhu. He's cut away all of this. Chant, dance, take prasadam, and associate with devotees and spread this mercy to others. Simple. Very simple. Any questions? Yes, Prabhu. In the back. Nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you for your wonderful letters. I read them.
My question is regarding serving devotees. What topic should be those servings?
How to serve a devotees? You have to.
On what topics? Is that serving them, I go in the shop and just buy something for them, or should I build a construction building for them, or it should be connected to Chaitanya mission or something like this, more in this way?
Well, out of all of the three, I would say all of the three. And whatever else you name, include it. So what does that mean? That there's varieties of ways you can serve the devotees. So the scriptures give 6 ways. One is to speak some confidential thoughts to another devotee. In other words, speak something Krishna conscious to another devotee. Another one is to give a gift to a devotee. And another one is to give prasadam to a devotee. These are the 3 recommended ways, and the receivers are the recipients, and are the other 3. So it's mentioned in Nectar Instructions, verse number 4, 6 loving exchanges between devotees. So you just see, if you can hold the door open for a devotee, if you see a devotee needs some money and then they're struggling because they have, give them some money if you have it, if you can spare it. If you have some time, spend some time with a devotee. Maybe the devotee needs to speak with somebody, they're undergoing a little difficulty. So we can think of different ways, just like people in the material world do that. They open hospitals, they open food centers, they distribute clothing, they do all kinds of things to help others. We can do similar things, but we have to see what is the need. So the best thing to do is tell another devotee about Krishna. That's a wonderful way to serve a devotee, because then you're sharing Krishna together. Give another person a book, that's a nice way, it's a gift. Find out their birthday, buy something on their birthday. Or just because, there's one girl, she's in the Tenfur temple in Denver. She's a pujari. She's my age, she's quite elderly. And she gets the Mahaprashadam, and then throughout the day she goes around meeting different devotees, and she just gives out the Mahaprashadam. She'll carry some small books, and she'll give them out. She just thinks of ways to serve the devotees. And everybody knows, oh, here comes Mother Nidra again. She's coming out. She's going to give me something. She's always thinking how to serve the devotees. And when somebody tries to give her something, she says, oh, thank you, you keep it. She doesn't ask for anything. So yeah, so her mind is like that. It's just throughout the day, she's just thinking how to do something nice for someone and make them happy. So we can do that with devotees. There's hundreds of ways. You just have to see what would be appropriate. That's all.
Because I think, is it also okay if sometimes you decide it and say that you cannot serve the devotee in something maybe that he asks you?
Well, try. But if someone asks you to do something, you can't do it, think about who else could do it for that devotee. Don't say, no, I can't do it. Think, oh, they have some requests. Maybe I can't do it myself, but I can arrange someone to do it. Or I can think of where they could go and get that same desire fulfilled. That way you don't say no. No. Thank you. And Markandeya had a question, yeah. By Kunti. Well, Krishna came, but Krishna comes and then Mahaprabhu follows him. He also comes once in every 1,000 yuga cycles.
I was curious how to understand that regarding the point that's, I think it's in the 10th canto where it said that the gopis, one of the groups of the gopis who met Lord Ramachandra and expressed their
Rishi-chari gopis.
Yes. So how could we understand that? In one sense, it's Krishna also.
Well, they prayed to Lord Ramachandra to become gopis, right? And they got their desire fulfilled. So what is the question?
Well, it's maybe a little bit technical, but the statement is that other incarnations did not open the way to Goloka. Just Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this, at least that's the one that I could think of, where it's not specifically exactly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but in one way
Well, they had to qualify. It's not that they just became gopis because they prayed. You just can't become a gopi just because you want to become a gopi. You have to qualify yourself to come to that standard of what it means to practice gopi bhav. So they had that feelings of what we say loving affection for Lord Ramachandra, but they were in male bodies. So they had that same, what we call, Madhurya affection. So, therefore, they prayed to the Lord to become gopis so they could exchange that loving affection. But Ramachandra can't exchange with gopis. At least he doesn't do that. So ultimately they had to come to Vrindavan to qualify themselves to become gopis in Vrindavan. So it's not something that came automatically. They had to leave that body and then become gopis. So Lord Ramachandra gave him their blessings and permission, but they had to qualify themselves. Just like us, we still have, before we get the blessings and mercy, we have to still qualify ourselves to come to the certain stages of spiritual attainment. But the mercy is there. When you get the mercy, it becomes easier. So obviously Ram gave their mercy. Is that okay? Okay, thank you. We have one of the ladies on this side. We got Ekta.
Earlier you were talking about Krishna Bhagavad demanding surrender, and you were saying Lord Chaitanya has made it more simple. I was wondering if you could elaborate, because in one sense it could feel like Lord Chaitanya is also demanding surrender, like chant Krishna's holy name, perform this process. So what's the distinction? What's the difference?
To think, yeah, because when you chant, then you will surrender. But Krishna says first surrender. Then you get my mercy. Lord Chaitanya said, here, take the mercy, sing, dance. You like to sing, you go to the nightclub, you get drunk. Yeah, just care, sings names of God. It's nice. So he made it like spiritual entertainment. Really. Just like when we were in Denver, Colorado, we were out on Harinam on New Year's Eve, like the coldest time of the year. So we went out on New Year's to do Harinam. And people in America, they're all getting out and they're in their nightclubs, they're roaming the streets and they're half intoxicated. So we were out there and we attracted some of the locals to join our kirtan. So it's on film, you can even see it. So the devotees are dancing and chanting, and two guys are there, and one guy is saying to his friend, "What are they singing?" And the other guy says, "I don't know, but it's really nice." All right? So, they're on their way. Does that answer your question? Yeah, and there's many incidents like that, yeah. I told that story, I think I told it the other day, when that one lady. Did I tell it last night too? When in the Rath Yatra in London, Kripa Moya was singing. And it was, we had huge Rath Yatra. It's one of the biggest Rath Yatras in ISKCON every year. This year is July 30th, if you want to mark your calendars. And so he was singing, and one lady, she come running from the side, just some onlooker, and she's crying. She goes right up to Kripa Moya. "What are you singing? What are you singing? I can't stop crying." "What is that?" Yeah. She didn't know what it was, but she was just, experiencing that. Yeah, so that's the holy name. If the heart is in the right position, then the emotions become explosive. When the heart is in the right position, then the mind is receptive, and then all of a sudden you can experience something wonderful. We'll come back to you. Okay. We got one from your partner.
Hare Krishna.
RT, yeah.
Just a quick one for me. I didn't note down all of the internal reasons why Mahaprabhu came here.
The three internal reasons. To taste the love that Radharani, to understand the love that Radharani has for him, to experience the happiness you experience in that love, that's two, and what are the qualities that are about him that attracts her. What is the nature of her love? What is the happiness you experience in that love? And what is the qualities about him that attracts her?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Amritananda? Mahatmananda, okay. There's a lot of Anandas nowadays.
Regarding this internal reason of Lord Chaitanya, so I wonder what happened, or could it be that Srimati Radharani is asking a similar question? What is that feeling that Krishna has experienced about me? What is that love?
So you're doing a little improvisation here.
Yes, I was just wondering if
It's called philosophical speculation on the absolute truth. Following in the footsteps of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who takes a situation and presents a scenario that's not actually happening, but it could happen if you understand all of the dynamics that surround that situation. That's called improvisation. So we can speculate will Radharani think, what is it about me that attracts Krishna? That's your question. Is Radharani thinking like that?
could it be, actually?
But there's no statements regarding that are within the Shastras. All they know that they try to make themselves attracted to Krishna. They present themselves very nicely. They try to dress nicely. They try to sing nicely for Krishna so he'll be pleased. They do things for Krishna that will attract Krishna towards them. So all of their qualities, and along with most of their activities, is to somehow attract Krishna. But in essence, what does attract Krishna to Radharani is that her love is the most pure. So what is that love? Is that there's not a slight trace of personal desire in her love. The gopis will do anything to please Krishna. Anything. They'll even give up their life if that pleases Krishna. They'll do anything. But Radharani's love is a perfection of that complete selflessness. But what about, Radharani knows Krishna. Just like if you want to have a loving relationship with someone, you should know about them. You should know their qualities, their nature, what makes them happy. What is it about them that's something you can do to please them? So Radharani knows Krishna perfectly. She knows his heart, she knows everything about him. No one else does, only her. Because of that knowledge of Krishna, she knows exactly how to please him. So think about that. Even in the material world, the more you know about someone, the more you can understand how to build that relationship based on the knowledge of that person. People get attracted by physical attraction, but that doesn't mean you know much about them. Physically, just like in the material world, people get physically attracted, and then they get married, and they start learning about each other, and then they think, uh-oh, where's the divorce papers? Yeah, and they don't get to know each other. That's why so Radharani, she knows Krishna perfectly. She knows his heart. She knows everything. She knows even how to get angry at Krishna, which makes him happy. She gets angry at Krishna. She rejects Krishna. She doesn't want to talk to Krishna, but it gives Krishna great pleasure. Because everybody likes him. So here's somebody that doesn't like him. Apparently, from the external point of view. She's showing some discord in that relationship. But that discord, because it's based on love, it's the highest form of expression of loving relationship. That's why, just like in Vrindavan, next to Sriji Mandir, there's another mandir, it's called Man Mandir. Man means anger. When Radharani became angry with Krishna, they actually built a temple based on her loving anger. So yeah. So she knows Krishna perfectly. And that's why Krishna is attracted to her more than anything, because she knows his heart. No one can know the heart of Krishna, it's not possible. Or even the mind of Krishna. Radharani does. And she's always trying to satisfy Krishna. So that's the attractive force. So Krishna is attracted to Radharani, and Radharani always knows that her whole mood is to attract Krishna. Therefore, that's why she knows she's the best of all the gopis. Because all the gopis assist her, the manjaris assist her in helping bring about relationships with Krishna. Why? Because no one can please Krishna better than Radharani. So the gopis are helping Radharani come to Krishna. Although many of them want to be with Krishna themselves, still they know that Krishna is more pleased with Radharani, so therefore they push Radharani forward because she's the best. I mean, sometimes a man has 3 or 4 wives, but then he has one favorite wife. It's always like that. You have so many friends, but you have one favorite friend. You have so many things you like to eat, but there's one that's the best. And so in all categories, there's something that's outstanding. Out of all the flowers, Prabhupada said the rose is the most attractive. Oh, Radharani is the best of all the gopis. But does she think, oh, what was your question again?
Does she think, what it is on Krishna that he experiencing about me, that he sees? He's so attracted about me.
Well, yeah, she knows that, and therefore she tries to make that more attractive. But if she thinks, just like in the rasa dance, when Radharani started to think that Krishna loves me more than anybody, and I'm the best, he left. Yeah. He was with all the gopis and Radharani, and then Radharani left. And Krishna went out chasing after Radharani and left all the other gopis. But then when he found Radharani, and he put her on her shoulder, and they were playing together. He was running through the forest. And then she started thinking, Krishna loves me the best. And then Krishna understood her mind, so he ran under a low-hanging branch. And she, in order not to get hit with the branch, she grabbed onto the branch and Krishna kept running. And she was left hanging on the branch. Krishna plays tricks on her also, So when she becomes proud of her exalted love for him, then Krishna will do something. So she avoids that. That's one incident. Yeah, you can read that. Okay? Tough question. You're a follower of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who likes to improvise different situations to make the sweetness even more sweeter. Okay. Question number 2.
You mentioned that the internal reasons for why Lord Chaitanya appeared, because Krishna couldn't understand Radharani. But if Radharani is Krishna's internal potency, how do we understand that Krishna doesn't understand his internal potency?
Another guy like her, How Krishna cannot understand his own internal potency? It's her love. So he wants to experience that love. And the happiness that is the nature of that love. So he wants that experience. He can't experience that from his position. He may understand it, but he wants that experience. That's why he becomes Mahaprabhu. He wants to see life from her position. Although he knows everything, the experience is unique to the individual. Krishna can experience what you're experiencing, but if he really wants to experience it, he becomes that person. And then the experience is perfect. So he wanted to experience that love and what is the nature of that. And what is it about her that attracts him? So he wanted that experience. Prabhupada makes that point, yeah. Okay? You remember, the soul is still distinct. It's unique. Anything else? Okay, there's no breakfast. But we can... you going out in Harinam today? No? Okay. Well, what's the next activity? Is there a group activity coming up? Kirtan's here. Oh, okay, great, fantastic. Okay, and then tonight I think there's an evening program starting at 4:30. Yeah. 4. So kirtan up until 4:30, and then 4:30 there's Abhishek. Then there's a drama, and then there's another class, Paladananda Maharaj, and me again. I love to speak, but you guys need some variety. Yeah, and what else? And then there's Arti after that. And then there's that thing that everybody's counting the minutes for. Okay, thank you. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Shri Gaur Purnima ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gauda Premanande.